Okay. Now, when we have, when it comes to having a plan, okay, an advisor who doesn't have a strategy and they tell me, Sanjay, I will go with the flow. What happens is when they go into a meeting, they start asking random questions like, how are you? How's the market? And then the client starts to control the meeting. How many of you feel that your clients control the meeting when you enter the meeting? If your clients are controlling the meeting, that means you're not prepared. You're going with the flow and the flow is against you. When you go into a meeting, you don't need an agenda to give to your client, but you mentally should have an agenda. You mentally should know exactly where you want to lead this conversation. You mentally should know how to shift conversations into potential presentations. You should know how to do that. Once you have done your presentation, if your client sounds excited, move to the next level. If they don't sound excited, don't push it. Change the conversation, right? Go back to something more general. But learn to finish your presentation. So within the first 10 minutes of the meeting, the first 10 minutes of a meeting are the most crucial. So if I gave you 10 minutes to talk to me, what would you say? I'm going to give a pause over here. If you had 10 minutes to talk to me, what would you say? I want you to think about it. You don't have to write it. This is specifically for you. Take a paper and pen. Today is about you, right? This session is for you. Take a paper and pen, and I want you all to think this. If you had 10 minutes with the most important person that you want to meet, what would you say? 10 minutes. There are a few questions that have come in, so I do want to read that. There's someone who's asked me a question. Sir, can you tell me how to pitch for recruitment of agents? Guys, I truly don't recruit. I'm not an agency manager. I'm probably the worst guy you can speak to for recruitment because I don't even have a single advisor that works under me. So I do not know how to recruit. I'm the wrong advisor for that. I am an advisor that only knows how to sell very well, and I focus on that, right? So I'm very transparent. I'm not an advisor who knows how to recruit. So I'm probably the wrong person for that. Okay, Barbara is using what's your lucky number. It's probably the fun conversation to have. Your life is so special to your family. You need to cover and protect your family and yourself. Eric, I want you to rethink that conversation. I mean, think about it. When you start a meeting with, hey, your family is so special to you, you need to cover it and protect it. You're kind of sounding salesy. Think about that, right? So I want all of you all to think about this, that what's bothering you, Mr. Client? So Jeanette asks, what's bothering you, Mr. Client? And let's say he tells you climate change is bothering me. Can you solve it? No. So be very careful of how you structure your questions, right? So Jeanette, what's bothering you is not usually the best question to start off with. So I do want you all to change that. Introduction. So Murli is doing introduction, data collection, understand their position and needs. So Murli, let me actually tell you this. Data collection doesn't work because most of our clients don't give us the correct data. For example, if you ask a woman her age, she'll probably tell you -10. And if you ask a man his income, he'll probably multiply it by 2. They never give you the correct data. 95% of housewives don't know the liabilities that their husbands have. So if you're working with housewives, they actually don't even know about the liabilities and the liability cancellation and the liabilities that they might or might not inherit. Okay. And 100% of married men don't know where their wives spend money. So when you ask a married man, what are your expenses, etc., he's like, I don't have a clue, bro. Think about it. They truly don't. So when you want to do data collection, right? Data collection doesn't work. And I want all of you all to realize this, that most clients don't like to give data. Can you imagine I asked all of you right now, what's your income? Isn't it a very rude question? Or if I asked you, what's your age? It's a very rude question. So data collection doesn't work. The other problem that I realized is most people don't know what they need in life. Most people haven't figured this out, right? They don't know what they need. They don't know what they like. So I keep asking people, oh, what do you like to do? And they're like, I don't know. What's your hobby? Everything, anything. Do you like music? Yeah. What type of music? Any music. Haven't you gone to a party and you ask somebody, what would you like to drink? And they say, anything. And that's what I want you all to understand. Most people don't know what they need, what they want. They don't know. So if you're trying to find out what their needs are, it doesn't really work. Vijaya, general questions don't work. That's the truth. Okay. Person's interest, those person's interests might not affect your advice. So I want all of you all to think about this, right? We think that this is how we should start conversations. Conversations don't start like that. Conversations start with a presentation. They start with a case study. And I want you all to think about this. Ever wonder what is your end goal for financial planning? Elt, I want you all to think about this. If you ask this question, let me ask you this question. Ever wonder what your end goal for financial planning is? Everyone sets an end goal in life. And then once they achieve it, they set a new end goal, right? So it's a never ending goal, right? So there's really no end goal. Lucy, what's your short-term, medium-term, long-term goal? Think about it. Who the hell knows that answer? Most of your clients actually don't know. They will fake answers to just satisfy you. But most people in the world don't know what their short-term, medium-term, and long-term goals are. Some people do, but majority of the people don't, right? Barkat, you're asking the basic necessities of life. When you're working with high net worth clients, do you think they're working for their basic necessities? No, they actually don't have to worry about basic necessities. So that means they don't need your advice because you're focusing on basic necessities. Ask him to talk about himself, his work, his business, his family. Heidi, that's absolutely a brilliant theoretical strategy. You see, theory says get clients to talk about themselves. In reality, clients don't like to talk about themselves. When you sit down with a high net worth client, they are super secretive. They actually don't like to tell you about their finances. They don't like to tell you about their family. They actually wonder, why do you want to know about my family? Why do you want to know about my business? Are you trying to be a competition? So a lot of people think that is the conversation that they're looking for. Harris has asked an interesting one. What's your favorite vacation? Harris, if I was a travel agent, that absolutely works. What's your favorite vacation? How much money do you want? Ranjan, most clients, the answer they give me is as much as possible, right? So, and that's where the problem starts, as much as possible. Who would you find if you were injured today? So, John, you're using what we call the fear strategy. The fear strategy actually does not work. So, John, most people, when you scare them, right? When you scare people, they actually get paralyzed. I want you to think about this. Imagine there's a snake in front of you and you're super scared of snakes. There are two things you will do. Either you'll get so paralyzed that you just stand still, or you will start to run. Fear does two things to you. Either it makes you run away, or it makes you paralyzed. And that's one of the biggest mistakes we do as financial advisors. We sell fear. I want you all to get out of the habit of selling fear and start focusing on happiness. Think about it. People love spending money on things that make them happy. People buy cars bigger than they can afford because it makes them happy. People buy houses bigger than they can afford because it makes them happy. People upgrade their travel plans because it makes them happy. They forget the fact that it's a liability. They forget the fact that they're spending money that they don't have. People spend more money when they are happy, not when they are scared. And I want you all to stop thinking about fear and start focusing on happiness. We as a profession are so fear-driven, right? The fear of dying, the fear of growing old, the fear of not being able to retire, the fear of, we are a fear-driven industry, and our clients get paralyzed or they run away. Don't you realize they run away from insurance advisors? They're paralyzed. They don't like to talk to insurance advisors. They don't like to give you information because they don't like our fear conversations. So I need you all to start upgrading your skills, that instead of talking about fear, I want you all to focus on happiness. What makes them happy? What would make you happy? Think about it. What would make you become better? That is what my target is. So if you've got only 4 months left to do this business, right? I want you all to remember 2 rules. Number 1, if you have done well, congratulations, move on. Stop wasting your time on celebrating. If you have not done well, move on. Don't spend your time feeling sad because you only have 4 months left. Your time is your asset. Who you spend that time with will affect your productivity. Every time I close a big case, I don't celebrate, I go back to work. Because if I'm too busy celebrating, I'm not using the confidence of that closure to meet bigger clients. So when I close a big case, I actually feel a lot more confident. All of us do. Use that confidence to sell even more bigger and keep selling. Don't celebrate because you have always got the opportunity to celebrate when things start to slow down. You see, momentum will slow down. When the momentum slows down, that's when you celebrate. But till then, keep the momentum going. Our momentum will slow down. I do have my slow periods. When I have slow periods, I'm celebrating. I'm replanning. I'm re-strategizing. But after I have closed a big case, I don't waste my time celebrating because you lose the energy. You lose the energy. I want you all to understand this, that the sales process that I was taught was do fact finding, okay? So data collection, do data collection. Based on that data collection, do a product presentation, handle the objection and close it, all right? And then when you do a review, you again do fact finding. The problem is the sales process doesn't work, okay? The sales process doesn't work. The correct sales process is you need to use an insurance trigger. There are only 2 types of insurance triggers. It's either fear or happiness. Avoid the fear. Fear basically gets you quicker sales. So the truth is, if you're focusing mass market, you want a quick sale, fear is a great motivator to close a quick sale, but it's not going to be a big sale. Happiness helps you close bigger cases, right? So when you're focusing on the right insurance trigger, your case size gets affected. If you're focusing on fear, it's probably small cases. If you're focusing on bigger cases, it's happiness that you will need to make sure that your clients are willing to do more than they can afford, so that they understand that they are sacrificing more today for happiness in the future. So if your insurance trigger is correct, the next step is to focus on a concept. That concept will lead to certain objections. Handle those objections. If you handle those objections carefully, you will have a very simple closing. There are 9 closing strategies that I follow, right? I've actually documented down all the 9. Out of the 9, the most famous one or the most easy one is, well, the next step is I need your signatures. You have to learn to ask for signatures. None of your clients will tell you, hey, that's a great idea. Give me the papers, I'll sign. No client is going to do that. You have to get into the habit of asking for signatures. All right. So closing plays an important role. Once you close, you need to learn that there is 3 things you need to do after closing a client. Number 1, when a client's income changes, you need to learn to upsell. When your client has a change in their lifestyle, they get married, they have children, they get divorced, you need to learn to cross-sell. Because when they get married, they have different responsibilities. When they have children, they need to plan for their kids' education, their responsibilities change. When they retire, their responsibilities change. So your cross-sell opportunity usually happens when there is a lifestyle change. All right. Upselling only happens when there's an income change. And cross-selling only happens when there is a lifestyle change. Upselling and cross-selling is probably one of the most difficult things for advisors to do correctly. 95% of my business comes from existing clients. And I want you all to know this because I do a lot of upselling, I do a lot of cross-selling. All right. Now, building a recommendation process. So I'm going to talk about the recommendation framework going a little later in today's presentation, but recommendations allow you to have true conversations. So what is the meaning of recommendations? There's a big difference between referrals and recommendations. Referrals is when someone gives you a name and number and tells you, you know what, call John. John is a good friend of mine, and give him a call and tell him I gave you the number. So imagine, right? So let's say I have a friend whose name is Wilfred, and Wilfred said, Sanjay, call John and tell him, I gave you his number. Think about this. I call John. I'm like, hi, John, I got a number from Wilfred. And he answers, who Wilfred? Now you're going to spend 10 minutes talking about who is Wilfred, right? Or if they're very close and I call John, I'm like, hey, John, I got a number from Wilfred. And he says, why did Wilfred give you my number? Now, John and Wilfred are going to have an argument or a conversation, right? Or you call John and you say, hi, John, I got a number from Wilfred. And he says, but I'm busy right now. So you see, all 3 answers are the most common answers we get. So referrals actually don't work. Referrals is 20th century. Recommendations and introductions is the 21st century. I would actually tell Wilfred, so let's say Wilfred says, Sanjay, I think you should meet John. I'd be like, great. Why don't you call John and let's do it together? Let's have a meeting together. Let's catch up together. Get your clients to call them for you. Get your clients to call them for you. Get into the habit of making your clients call your recommendations. So I want to be recommended. Now, when I want to be recommended, I don't want to be recommended for what I do. I don't want to be recommended for what I do. Think about it. I don't want to be recommended as their financial advisor. No. I don't want to be recommended as their insurance agent. I don't want to be recommended as their wealth manager. I don't want them to recommend me for what I do. I want them to recommend me for who I am. Listen to these words very carefully. Recommendation is based on your personality. Recommendation is not based on what you do. You want to be recommended for who you are, not for what you do. Think about this. So when I want to get recommended, I have a conversation with my clients saying, why don't you introduce me as a friend? If I like them, I'll probably do work with them. But if I don't like them, I don't want to be forced to work with them just because they are friends of yours, right? So I like to be introduced as a friend. I like to be introduced as an acquaintance. I like to be introduced as someone who's fun, someone who's knowledgeable, someone who is, my personality should be my recommendation. And I want all of y'all, if you take this away from today's session, I want you all to take away the art of being recommended for who you are and not for what you do. After your clients have agreed to buy insurance, you can do all the fact finding in the world. All your clients will give you the true facts once they have agreed to buy insurance from you. Once they've agreed why they need to buy insurance, They have cleared the objections. They have now agreed to go and look at a product or buy a product. That's when fact finding works. So you need to do fact finding, but not in the beginning of the sales process. You need to do fact finding at the end of the sales process to make sure that the advice match the facts. The advice has to match the facts, but they don't give you the facts in the beginning. They give you the facts in the end. So first, learn to give good general advice. Learn to give just good advice. For example, how many steps should you walk every day? 10,000 steps, good advice. How much water should you drink every day? 8 to 10 glasses, good advice. Your blood pressure, it should be 120 by 80, good advice. That's the average, right? So it's good general advice. Get into the habit of giving good advice. And when you give good advice and they like your advice, they see value in the conversation with you, they will then give you the facts in the end. When they give you the facts, you can always adjust your advice. You can always say, okay, now that I know that you have all these liabilities, we should also think about liability cancellation. Or now that I know that you have got these other dependents that are not direct dependents, but indirect dependents, we need to think about how much life insurance you have. You see, I gave you general advice. I gave you good advice, but my advice might change after you give me facts. I don't say that to a client, but if they do change the facts, right, they tell you something more that would affect your advice, then change your advice, but towards the end. And I want you all to remember one thing. Good advice is standard rules of thumb. So today, as a community, all right, as a community, let's agree what are the rules of thumb. For example, is 10,000 steps the correct number of steps? No. If you're very thin, right, you're already fit, you probably don't want to be doing 10,000 steps. You probably want to do 8,000. If you're not fit, you should be doing 12,000 or 15,000 steps, right? So great advice depends from person to person, but the general advice, we call it the rule of thumb. We only have 4 products in our business. I pay if you die, I pay if you fall sick, I pay if you retire, and I pay when your kids go to college. We only have 4 products. Let's set the rules of thumb for these 4 products. So the rules of thumb are very simple. If it's life insurance, I pay in case you pass away, the formula is 10 times of annual income, right? For all of you who are thinking in other countries, oh, Sanjay, no, 10 times is not the correct answer. Let me get one thing correct to all of you. 10 times is a good rule of thumb. Some people need 5, 6, 7. Some people need 15, 16, 20. 10 is a good average. As a community, let's agree on that, all right? How much money should you have in case you pass away, in case you fall sick, right? So we call that product critical illness or disability or long-term care. The answer is usually 5 to 10 times of annual income. That's the formula, all right? 5 to 10 times, 5 being the good average. If they have 5 times of annual income as critical illness, it allows them to come back to work, all right? For retirement, the simple formula is 20% of whatever you earn. So if you earn $100, it's $20. If you earn $1 million, it's $200,000. The formula does not change. Your income decides your lifestyle. So if you want to retire, you need to have a percentage of your income kept aside. And the percentage is 20% of whatever you earn. That's good advice. If you're younger, probably lesser. If you're older, probably higher. But 20% is good advice. How much money should you save for your kids' education? Now, I want you all to remember this. One of the biggest mistakes that we make in our business is when we do education planning for children, we scare our clients so much that the cost of education right now is $100,000 in 15 years with inflation. The cost of education from $100,000 will become $1 million. Your clients are so scared after that presentation that they basically say, you know what, forget it, the kids don't need to study. And if you have multiple kids, right, let's say you've got 2, 3 kids, then they will probably say, I'll choose my favorite one, and that favorite one gets to go to college. So I want you all to remember this. When it comes to education planning, There's a simple rule of thumb. 5% of whatever you earn, you need to put aside for your kids' education. Now, that 5% might not be enough, but it's a start. All right. So it might not be enough, but it's a start. So there's a formula. 5% of whatever you earn, you should save for your kids' education. If you have multiple kids, right? So if you have 2 kids, the answer is not 10%. So it's not 5% per child. What? So that if you have 5 kids, that means you should be saving 25% now. I want you all to understand this. It's 5% of your income. And let me give you the logic. The cost of insurance, right, as a percentage of income is usually between 7 to 10%. So if 7 to 10% is going towards the cost of insurance, 7 to 10% of the income, 20% is going towards their retirement. So almost 30% of their income is going towards insurance and retirement. How much physically can a person save for their kids' education? It can't be more than 5%. So from a financial perspective, you can scare your clients as much as you like. They cannot give you more than 5% of their income. Think logically, guys, right? Because you have such elaborate presentations on education, right? I look at the education planning presentations around the world, and I am shocked that you scare your clients so badly. You start asking questions like, what do you think your kids will study? How the hell do they know? Where do you think your kids will study? Will they study in a local university? Will they study international university? How the hell do they know? How much do you think will be the cost of education in the future? Who the hell knows? Guys, I want you all to stop thinking about that. Stop scaring your clients. Help your clients to save money on the side. They need to save money for their kids' education. They need to save money. Have a simple presentation for education planning. Let me give you my presentation. My presentation for education planning is 1 minute. Mr. Client, today your child is born. At the age of 18, your kids will go to university. You have 2 options. Option A, we save money and we earn interest on that money. Option B, when they turn 18, you borrow money from the bank, you take an education loan, and then you pay interest. Which one would you prefer? Earning interest or paying interest? That's it. Now, most clients will say option A sounds better. And I'm like, exactly. You need to learn to save money and earn interest. And the simple formula is 5% of whatever you earn. That's the rule of thumb. 5% of whatever you earn, put that aside for your kids' education. But Sanjay, what if it's not enough? Well, then we'll figure it out, right? We'll figure it out. We'll keep reviewing it and we'll figure it out. Let's start with that. If a client says, oh, Sanjay, when the kids become 18, we'll take a mortgage, we'll take a loan, we'll borrow money and let the kids have their education loan. Great. Your kids, not mine. I don't care. Move on. Move to the next client. If your clients don't care about their own kids, why do you worry about their kids? Are they your children? No. Why are you worried? Move on. I want you all to remember one thing. If your clients don't care about their family, move on. If your clients don't care about their kids, move on. If your clients don't care about their future, move on. You cannot make decisions for other people's children. If they have made a decision to make their children suffer, who are you to help them change that? There's something I was taught when I was very young. My father taught this to me. He said, Sanjay, if someone is sleeping, you can shake them and you can wake them up. But if someone is pretending to sleep, even if you slap them, they won't get up. All right? So if your clients are sleeping, this presentation is a shake good enough to wake them up. But if they're pretending to sleep, right? Even if you slap them with all the figures, with all the fears, they're not going to get up. Move on. Why are you wasting your time? So I want all of you all to think about this, that your time is valuable. Learn to give good advice and move on. If they take it, congratulations. They don't take it, move on. A lot of your clients don't feel the urgency to buy insurance. Am I correct? But I want you all to think about this. If your clients don't buy insurance this year, they buy insurance next year, right? If they buy insurance next year, what will happen? The premium will increase. If the premium increases, your commission increases. Why are you in a hurry? Let them wait. Let them feel the cost of delay. Why are you in a hurry? You only earn more if they delay more. Think about it. So why are you in a hurry? I'll tell you why you're in a hurry. You're in a hurry because you don't have enough meetings in a day. If this one client doesn't buy, this month, no commission. You're so focused only on one person that if this one client doesn't buy, you have a problem. And that's purely an activity problem. And that's the reason why I said you should have so many meetings in a day that if a client doesn't agree with you, move on. Life is a great teacher. Life is a great teacher. So stop being worried about people. Start being worried about giving good advice. I want all of you all to give fantastic advice and not be worried about the results. The problem is you're so focused on results that your clients think you are desperate for business. And that desperation, right, makes you vulnerable. Then they start asking you for discounts. They start asking you for rebates. All that comes when you look desperate. When you don't look desperate, right, you can command, you can control, you can manage the meetings. So I want all of you all to remember this, that the sales process that you follow is wrong. And that needs to change. So guys, if there's one thing you take away from today, I want you all to take away the ability to have simple conversations. All right? Conversations that help you understand. Do a simple presentation. What I have also realized is case studies are great conversation starters, right? A lot of people want to know what other people are doing. We live in a generation of copy-paste. We live in a generation where people like to copy what other people are doing. Copy-paste has become a natural practice. People like to copy successful people. All right? Successful people like to copy other successful people. That's the truth. We live in a copy-paste generation. Why don't you share a case study of what someone else has done and help people make decisions? So for example, how many of you wish you were born retired, right? How many of you wish you were born retired? Be honest. Think about this. I'm just reading all the comments. I mean, I've had so many comments coming in. I just want to make sure that I haven't missed any of the comments, right? Okay, so exactly. You see, all of us want to be born retired. Then why have you not planned the retirement for your kids? Why have you not planned the retirement for your kids? I keep getting asked this question, Sanjay, I don't want to leave a lot of money for my kids because it will spoil them. They will get spoiled. Easy money is bad. Guys, let me tell you something. Money is not good. Money is not bad. Money is power. The values that you give your children will decide where they use this power. Money is not good. Money is not bad. Money is just power. If you want to do charity, you need money. You want to do good in the world, you need money. You want to change anything around you, you need money. Money is a tool. Money is not a goal. Money is a tool to achieve whatever you want in your life. It's a tool. All right? Please teach that as a value system to your children. Mr. Client, you focus on the values. I'll focus on building the money. You tell me how much you want to create. I will create it right now. Think about it. That's the power that our industry has. We have the power to create money right now. You want $5 million, $10 million, $100 million, I can create it right now. All right? I want to spend some time today talking to you about activity rates. How do you build your activity rate? The other thing that I want to spend time today is I want all of you all to prepare your recommendation process, right? So I'm going to teach you the recommendation framework. Now, before I talk about activity and how to measure activity and results, etc., let's take a quick 10-minute break. All right, so let's take a short break and come back. Stay on. I want to talk to you about exactly how to build activity. How do you measure your activity? What are the rules of thumb for activity? What's the sales, break down the sales process from a scientific perspective? What are the trends that you will see? And I want to discuss all of that with you all. All right. So let's take a quick 10-minute break and come back. If you do have questions, do keep putting them in the comment section, because I will try and answer all the questions that you have. Questions allow me to know exactly what you're thinking, because I don't get to see all of you all. Like I said, I miss seeing all of you. I wish this was a in-person event. I get to see all of you. That'll be brilliant. But because I can't, do send me your questions. I'd love that, right? So let's take a quick 10-minute break, and I will see you again in 10 minutes.
In the last 2 years, 13 advisors worldwide have shown the world that you can achieve your MDRT in just one case through closing bigger cases. And if you're feeling stagnated, stuck, or lost as a financial advisor, then it's time to explore the big case closing in the next 12 months. Now, the good news, the Big Case Closer 2022 enrollment is finally here. And this is your rare opportunity to join a family of driven advisors worldwide to learn how to close bigger cases, so that you too can get a breakthrough in your career and improve your income in 2022. Hi, this is Dr. Sanjay Tolani, the family leader of Sanjay Mentoring Family. Over the last decade, I've helped hundreds of thousands of financial advisors like yourself who are struggling to become better financial advisors. In 2021, I've successfully closed more than 300 MDRTs. A huge target which I thought was impossible, and I'm very excited to share with you what helped me do it, the art of closing big cases. Now, before you think that big cases closing requires you to have rich connections or talent, I want to prove to you how ordinary advisors like yourself have benefited from learning solid and practical big case closing strategies and are right now accomplishing extraordinary results. When I first started the Big Case Closer family in the late 2019, many advisors doubted the concept of closing bigger cases. Many felt that it was impossible and they require huge talent or a rich network to succeed. But let some of these amazing results we've gotten change your mind about it. We've seen members who have had no rich connections opening up and closing large retirement planning and premium financing cases, some even in millions of dollars of premium. We have seen members who have stagnated in their career for years clearing their 2020 target production in the first quarter of 2021 and are right now on track to doing the same in 2022. We have even seen new members who joined the program closing cases that are 200% larger than they used to do previously, just by tweaking and implementing new high net worth strategies. And the list goes on. But among these members, I'm super proud that 13 of them have shown the world that it is possible to achieve MDRT with one case and were awarded the Big Case Closer Award. They are Kaka, Benedict, Deanna, Gayatri, Eli, Indresh, Anil, Portia, Jennifer, Sudhakar, Benedict and Arvind. Let's together take a look at some of the members' big case closing journey. This is Kaka from Malaysia. When I first met her years ago, she was completely new to this career. Like many advisors, she started with great concept presentations that helped her to exponentially improve herself, but she wanted to do even better. And in just 2 years, she started adopting the high net worth concept and opening up big cases. In 2021, despite giving birth to a newborn, she never gave up and managed to achieve her TOT last year and COT in September this year. And right now, she is a professional in specializing in large retirement planning cases. This is Benedict from Singapore. He was a banker who switched to being an insurance advisor. Benedict started to implement income and asset transfer concepts when he joined the BCC family, and it was a game changer for him. From complicated number explanation to simple concept presentations, Benedict today specializes in helping businesses owners and high net worth individuals plan their finance. Not only did he achieve his COT last year, Benedict managed to win the BCC award twice in 2 consecutive years and prove the world that big case closing is possible and can be replicated. This is Portia from Hong Kong. Portia joined the family in our last year enrollment, and months into the program, she managed to achieve her BCC Closer Award. I'm super proud of her because she's an exceptional executor. She implemented all the ideas on estate planning, asset transfer, and income generation taught in the program and closed a large case in 2 meetings. She's a role model in showing anything is possible, and if you're willing to try new ideas.
everyone, my name is Katalam and I'm from Malaysia. Today I would like to share with all of you about the Big Case Closer program by Dr. Sanjay Tolani. The reason why I joined the Big Case Closer program is because I was looking for a breakthrough for myself, and at the same time I faced challenges when it comes to closing big cases. Initially, I never believed that closing big cases is possible for me. But after joining the Big Case Closer program, my perspective about financial planning has changed. Dr. Sanjay taught me advanced concepts which were made so simple to understand, not just for the advisor, but even for the clients. Dr. Sanjay always reminds me to not complicate my presentation because simple concepts will always have a bigger impact. Besides that, he also guided me step by step through the whole process with a case studies. From there, it made me realize that closing big cases is not just about the case size, but it's more about the problem they have. My client will usually face a bigger problem when they need a bigger coverage. This program has helped me to achieve my first TOT last year, and also it has given me more confidence in providing the best insurance planning for the high net worth individuals. At the same time, it gives myself a chance to help them to do a precision planning and make them realize that regardless how wealthy they are, their financial portfolio will never be balanced without insurance. Looking forward to learn more strategies, and thank you so much Dr. Sanjay for this amazing program.
Hello everybody, my name is Benedict and I'm from Singapore. The reason why I joined the BCC program 2 years ago was because I needed to have a breakthrough in my career. Before joining the insurance industry, I was a relationship manager in a bank. Back then, I was very used to present numbers as well as diagrams to my clients. Those presentations were very complicated and many of my clients did not understand what I was saying. Through the BCC program and Sanjay's teaching, I was able to apply case studies as well as concepts into my presentation to make it very simple for my clients and friends to understand. By applying what I've learned in the BCC program, I was able to achieve 1 MDRT in one case in 2021 as well as 2020. How do I do it? Many of you have been asking me on social media. Well, it really is that simple. Learning the concept presentation and case study actually helps me simplify my entire presentation. By simplifying it, I was able to look into the problems more deeply and my clients could understand them better. So gone are the complicated presentation and numbers that actually boils down. Thank you Sanjay for teaching us, everyone here in the BCC program, how to get it done. I'm looking forward to 2022 to learn more from you. Thank you.
Hi everybody, I'm Portia Leung from Hong Kong. I have been in financial business for 21 years. Along this long journey, the way to run my business is almost the same every year. Production is the same, and the way to give advices to my clients are the same. I find it difficult to give a better solution to my clients, especially the high net worth one. The reason why I joined BCC program is because I was looking for a breakthrough and I want to upgrade my professionals to a high net worth level. Unlike the other courses that I normally take, BCC program really told me the strategy how to upgrade my client market to high net worth step by step. Starting from prospecting, create conversations, concept presentation, and even closing big cases. The concepts I learned are down to the earth and easy to understand. Clients always found it really inspiring and was identifying their problem more easy. I can provide the best solution to them, and closing ratio has increased much. I believe one case, one MDRT is not a legend anymore, and everyone can get it. Thank you, Dr. Sanjay, to provide this amazing program to build my confidence and good foundations to be the best financial planner.
So, why did I design the Big Case Closer program? Why would I teach you all the secrets I've spent close to 2 decades of learning? I've spent the last 19 years using my own results from 1 MDRT to 365 MDRT to convince people to think big as a financial advisor. I personally hate the fact that people look down on advisors like us, and I want to change their perspective about us. I want future advisors like yourself to know that you should never doubt your ability to do great work, and the career of a financial advisor is a noble and proud profession. I realize the best way for me to achieve that is to show more people how professional a financial advisor can be, and to do that, it's not only about me doing great results, but also showing that others can do it with the right skill set and the right mindset. That's why I'm here to train more big case closers. I have also come to a point in my career where I want to pass down my knowledge so that future advisors like yourself can leverage on my knowledge and do our industry proud. My greatest happiness lies in having more success in our profession. And if you have similar thoughts as me, I would sincerely love you to be a part of this family and vision. Trust me, you will never find another program that creates such massive value as this. In fact, you will have everything you need to close big cases handed to you when you're part of this family, and that's my promise to you. So here's how your big case closer journey would look like if you're coming on board in this enrollment. There are 4 phases that you have to experience in this program. The phase 1 is the foundation skills, picking up the right skill set. Phase 2 is specialization, creating your unique proposition. Phase 3 is coaching to get you on track, and phase 4 is to support you to help you close big cases. We begin phase 1 by working on your sales foundation and skill set. Imagine yourself meeting with an ultra-rich prospect. How would you approach them and raise up the topic of financial planning? How can you go about doing it in a non-pushy and professional manner that could potentially bring you a stream of recommendations after you close that deal? Well, this is when basic sales are important. When you first join the family, the relationship manager will reach out to you, analyze your profile, and advise you to watch certain pre-recorded videos that will help you solve your problems on your skill set. You will gain access to the same knowledge and strategies I've personally used to close multi-million dollar cases in the last few years. You will also get access to the Big Case Closer library, where we have resources ranging from keyman insurance to asset management to estate planning. Now, these are precious resources and knowledge that I've spent a decade learning, and they will be handed right to you. By the time you watch and finish 50% of our training videos, you will have the required knowledge, skill set, and competitive edge to get you started with opening up bigger cases. On top of that, we are constantly upgrading and growing as a family. Every month, members come together to attend monthly training or coaching, which covers new financial planning topics that are relevant to help you see results. Example, getting an increase in your commissions. And in certain months, I will go an extra mile to conduct longer trainings, which I call foundational training. I'm glad to announce that in 2022, we will have 7 foundational trainings where we'll be covering, in the first module, high net worth market secrets, learn how to enter into the high net worth market and be liked and trusted by them. The second module will be high net worth concepts, how to create unique concepts to convince richer prospects to say yes to estate planning or premium financing. In the third module, we'll be talking about asset transfer and multi-generational planning, how to increase your case size by 120% using asset transfer financial strategies. In module 4, we'll be unlocking the C-suite, how to professionally present keyman insurance and financial structures to work with C-suite clients. Module 5, corporate and family office ideas, how to ride on budgeting to create more sales for 2023. In module 6, high net worth portfolio management, learn the essential skills of portfolio management and personal investing. Module 7 will be the final sprint for 2022. This will only be for BCC members. Once you're confident that your foundation, we will begin phase 2 by simply creating a unique proposition. Ask yourself, how different are you from other advisors in the market? How can you stand out and get prospects to come to you for advice instead? To help you with that, we're going to create a specialized branding material for you so you can stand out and be found online. But that's not enough. You need to specialize, something 90% of advisors don't know how to enter into. I'll explore higher levels of financial planning with you by helping you choose from either family office, risk management, asset management, or corporate financial planning as your specialization track. With specialization, you will now stand out from your peers because of your specialization. You will also gain the right knowledge and network to handle cases that are 10 times larger than usual. Once your basics are clear and you have the unique competitive advantage, you're now ready to go out and meet richer prospects. But imagine meeting your prospects and they come back with a list of objections, tough questions, and issues you cannot handle. What would you do? That's what phase 3 is all about. Coaching and Q&A with you so that you don't feel lost and are confident to handle every high net worth you meet. On a monthly basis, I will organize a Q&A session to help clarify all problems members have. If you feel there is something you don't want others to know, that's completely okay too. Just reach out to the relationship manager and I'll privately answer them for you. If you don't have any questions, just listening to case studies from other members will bring you a whole new level in the industry. You get to open your eyes to the world of financial planning by seeing how others are closing big cases in real life. So what's the outcome? Well, you will be now a lot more clearer and more confident on how to apply your newly acquired big case closing skill set. Something new I wanted to introduce in 2022 is the quarterly planning session. On a quarterly basis, the family will come together to do a quarterly planning session so that everyone is clear about their target for the upcoming quarter. And you're feeling unmotivated and need a listening ear, you always have a family to share with. If I ever stop the learning phase here, this would already be the most comprehensive program for advisors in the market. But I want to do more for the big case closer family. I want to give you my support, which is phase 4. The biggest problem when coming to the big cases is you panic or get lost when you really get that opportunity. That is why when you have a potential prospect that can close maybe 100,000 case size, and when you're completely lost and don't know what to do, you can leverage on my team and see if they can assist you. Think of it like a special helpline that I've created only for the BCC members to reach out whenever they need to. With this, you no longer lose cases just because you don't know how to handle it. Instead, a team of professionals is on standby to ensure your cases have a higher chance of success. The Big Case Closer program has only one goal: to teach you how to close bigger cases so that you can earn more income for yourself. Every year, close to 2,000 advisors worldwide apply to be a part of the Big Case Closer family, but only a small handful of them are selected to be part of this process. In 2020 and 2021, more than 300 advisors worldwide have seen results via the Big Case Closer family, and I'm confident that we now have an even clearer roadmap to help you get results faster and quicker than ever. If you're serious about improving your commissions, please apply early to avoid disappointments. In fact, we are limiting the number of people to be able to be a part of this program because I want every member to have that competitive advantage in the industry. So click on the button to apply, and I look forward to holding your hand step by step to close your first big case ever. Remember, the moment you close one big case using the BCC closing strategies, you will already make back multiple times of your investment.
Okay. Okay. All right. So a lot of good questions. I'm going to make sure that that my team put it together so that it's easy for us to follow these questions later when we come to the Q&A session. All right. So I want you all to put it this way, right? Let me give you a simple chart. How many prospects do you meet? And how many of those prospects, so meet, right? Meet. Again, I'm not talking about appointments. I'm talking about meeting. How many prospects do you meet? How many of those prospects, how many of those meetings convert into appointments? That's what I call the appointment ratio, right? So where your regular meeting turns into a potential sale. What is that ratio? So if you meet 10 people, how many people are you able to have that conversation with? I want you all to be able to measure that. How many of those appointments then convert into a close? We call that the closing ratio. What is your average case size? So a lot of people think they know the average case size. A lot of people don't know what the average case size is. So let me tell you how to calculate it. It's a very simple strategy. Total amount of premium collected divided by the number of cases that you've issued. Total premium collected divided by the number of cases that you've issued. Write that down, because that tells you whether you're on the right track. You see, if every year your case size increases, that means you're in the right direction. If your closing ratio increases, you're in the right direction. This is not a one-year business. Please understand that correctly. This business is going to stay with you for many years to come. This is a career. You're going to be in this business for a very long time. How do you know if you're doing better, worse? How do you know that? It's not only based on commission. Commission is only one measure of success. But if you truly want to know whether you're doing well in this business, you need to know what is your appointment ratio. You need to know what is your closing ratio. This is your business. It's not my business. All right. It's your business. You need to learn how to track your business. So you need to know what is your appointment ratio, your meetings, how many of these meetings convert to appointments, how many of these appointments convert into a sale. Now, what is your average case size? You should know that. Because if you don't know what is your average case size, you don't know what are the premiums that you usually work with. Then the next thing you need to write down is what's your maximum case size so far? What is the biggest case you have done? Now, there are two ways to measure biggest case. Number one, highest sum assured sold. Number two, highest premium collected. All right. So these are two numbers you should know. What is the largest case you have done, so that you know exactly what to beat? And what is the largest premium that you collected in from a single client? That's how you know what is the maximum size that you've already worked on. So that becomes your next target to beat. It's just like an Olympic runner, right? So when an Olympic athlete is practicing, they look at their best time that they've achieved, and they're always trying to beat their best timing. They're always trying to push themselves a little bit more to try and beat that best time that they have set. I'm making you set what are the things that you need to beat. How many of your meetings convert to appointments? If that ratio increases, your closing ratio, even if it stays the same, your productivity increases. If your closing ratio increases and your appointment ratio doesn't increase, your productivity increases. If your case size increases, your closing ratio doesn't increase, your appointment ratio doesn't increase, but your case size increases, your productivity increases. If you beat the maximum case size that you've done before, your productivity increases. All right. So I need you all to know the numbers of your business. And these are numbers that you need to document for yourself. You don't need to tell it to someone else. This is your measurement of where you are in this business. And I need you all to remember that. So how many people are you going to meet? How many appointments will those get converted to? How many of those appointments convert into a sale? What's your average case size? Get that now. Because if you don't know that, right, there's a problem. Now, when I say this, right, I want you all to also understand that I'm going to be specializing sessions going forward. So I'm going to be doing special sessions. For example, in September, I'm only going to talk about how to prospect business owners. So in the month of September, there's a session that I'm doing specifically for business owners, because what I realized, a lot of us want to focus on business owners, but we don't know how to start conversations. We don't know how to do presentations. And I want to spend a whole day talking just about business owners, because Q4 is when businesses do their budgeting. Q4 is when businesses review their annual goals. They reset everything, right? So businesses in the fourth quarter actually redo their entire strategy. And if you're focusing on business owners at the right time, it's always about the right time. Q4 is about right time. And I want to make sure that that's what I cover. How to speak to business owners. I'll only be doing this in 3 countries, Singapore, Malaysia, and Philippines. All right. So my team will be sending out the dates. They'll be sending out the details, but we'll be doing it in Singapore, Malaysia, and Philippines. When it comes to the trends, I want you all to know the trends that I have going on right now. So there are certain trends that I've noticed with clients. The latest trend that I've noticed is we live in a YOLO generation, right? You only live once. People are spending more money than they earn, and they just hope that in the future, their income will catch up and pay off the liabilities or the over expenses that they have today. So when it comes to that conversation, right? The YOLO conversation, I realized it's not about money. It's about the lifestyle. Think about it, right? If you had all the money in the world, if all of you, right, all of you had all the money in the world, how much would your lifestyle change? What would you be doing differently? Think about this. If you had all the money in the world, what would you be doing differently? Some of you will say, I wish I would be traveling a little bit more, right? So all of us want to travel a little bit more. The most common answers that I get, right? So if you can do write out, I would love to know what you would do. But the most common answers I get is, I wish I could travel a little bit more. I would do a little bit more charity, right? So I would donate more money out. I would work on, global problems, try to solve global hunger, climate change, I would work on some global problems. Some of you might say, I would like to try different types of foods. I would take on a new hobby. I would learn how to cook. I'll probably go back to school. I'll go back to study. I'll probably take on gardening. I would spend more time with my loved ones, right? I would want to spend more time with my family and friends. I would want to have more college reunions, right? Right. You see, JJ says, less work, more charity and travel, build some habits. Eleda says charity. Brian says, I wouldn't worry about being in debt. That's right. I wouldn't be worried about being in debt. I would spend more time with kids. That's right. So Kervin says, I'll spend more time with kids. Lillian says, I will travel a lot. Do more charity. And that's the interesting thing, right? So we as humans love to do charity. We want to spend more time with our children. We want to spend more time doing charity. Some people saying, really? Have a more comfortable lifestyle, right? So we might change our house. Again, you see all these things. JJ, yes, doing things I really love. And that's what I want to define. What do you really love? Travel the family, farming, sponsor cancer foundations, spend quality time, charity, there you go. Travel a lot, more charity. And I want all of you all to realize that we would all do something that we can already do today. Think about it. All you want to do is travel a little bit more. We are the first generation in history that has more traveled than any other previous generation. We're the first generation in history that is more educated than any other previous generation. We are the first generation in history that is more connected than any other generation. We are the first generation in history that has tried more different types of food than any other previous generation. We are the first generation in history that can even properly work from home. Then what's wrong? What's wrong? What's wrong is we're not living what we call a hybrid retirement lifestyle. We all want to work, but we also want to retire. So we want to live what we call a hybrid retirement lifestyle. We have got retirement wrong, guys, and that's the trend that's changing. Retirement is not an age. Retirement is a lifestyle. We want to achieve that lifestyle as soon as possible. And that's the truth. You see, governments set the retirement age so that public servants take off. I want you all to think about this. Retirement age was not set by our profession. Retirement age was set by the government. So the government said you retire at 55. They increased it to 60. They increased it to 65. They increased it to 67. Then they increased it to 70. In some countries, they've increased it to 72. So it's the government that decides the retirement age. However, it's your lifestyle that decides your true retirement age. So retirement is not about money. Retirement is about lifestyle. We all want to live a better lifestyle. And if you want to live a better lifestyle, you need more income. You don't need more money. There's a big difference between money and income. You don't need lump sums. You need regular income. Because if you have got regular income that comes to you, you can live a hybrid retirement. Think about it. When you're 40, all right, I think the perfect age to retire is actually 40. I think I need to write a whole book on this. But personally, I think retirement, the perfect age for retirement is 40. Think about it. At the age of 40, you're old enough to know better. You're young enough to do whatever you like. All right. So you're not very old. You still have decent health. Because by the time you get 60, 65, you're so old that you probably can't enjoy. You're not retired. You're just tired. Right. So when you get to 60, 65, you can't eat the food you like. You can't travel because you've got knee pain, back pain. You want to spend time with your kids. They don't want to spend time with you because they have grown up. They have their own families. Or if they're teenagers, they really don't want to spend time with you. What do you want to spend your money on? Think about it. So when you get to 60, 65, what are you going to spend your money on? Probably nothing. So the correct age to retire, according to me, is 40. Because when you're 40, your kids are just old enough to have a nice conversation with you, but they're not old enough to say, I want my space, right? At 40, you can take on a new hobby. You can learn a new sport. You can travel a lot more. You can try new foods because your doctor still hasn't told you you need to live on pills. So I think the perfect age to retire is 40. Retire for about 10, 15 years, right? So retire between 40, 55, 60. And at 60, I think you should come back to work. Think about it. Nobody wants to spend time with you anyways. You might as well come back to work. What are you going to sit at home and do, right? So I think we've got the concept of retirement wrong. I think retirement should be age 40. So you should start working at 20, retire by 40, and then come back to work again at 60. Because after that, people don't want to spend time with you. You might as well come and give your wisdom, your experience, come and become the CEO, come and have that conversation where you're like the father figure to everyone. And if you remember the movie Intern, that movie kind of reminded me of that. I mean, this guy takes on an internship after retiring because there's nothing to do at home, right? And that's the reality. We live in a generation which is going to bloody live a very long time. And if you do live a very long time, you might as well give back to society. So why don't you start having a hybrid retirement lifestyle by the time you're 40, 45, and by 60, come back to work and be a full-time employee again, because you might as well. And then you will get to a certain age, maybe in your late 70s, 80s, where you physically cannot work anymore, right? And that's when you need, again, a full retirement. So guys, we got retirement planning wrong. So when I'm having this conversation with my client, don't you think everyone is quite interested? Because all of a sudden, my strategy for retirement is more exciting than what people are planning. How many of you are looking forward to turning 65? How many of you are looking forward to retire at 65? Think about it. None of us want to grow old. And you're telling everyone, when you grow old, you should have money. They're like, what will I do with the money? I want the money now, right? But if you learn to have a presentation with your client and tell them, listen, in the next 5 years, I want you to start having a retired lifestyle. How much are you willing to sacrifice today for that retired lifestyle in about 5 years? And your clients will want to give you more money. Think about it. How many of you would want that? That in the next 5 years, you can start to retire. Not completely retire, but at least start to retire. Take 1 more week off. Take one more staycation. Take 1 more holiday. Read 1 more book. Take on 1 more hobby. How many of you would like that? Think about this. We all want a hybrid retirement. And the perfect age for hybrid retirement is between 35 and 45. Perfect age for a hybrid retirement. That's when you start it. And you come back to work around 50, 55, because by then your kids are teenagers. They don't want to spend time with you. You have probably started developing blood pressure, diabetes, and cholesterol. You might as well work. You can't eat out. You can't meet friends. You can't drink too much. All those things stop at 50, 55. At 65, you still continue working. 75, 80 is when you need a full retirement again. And again, you need to have something that gives you regular income. And that is the new retirement strategy. Imagine having this conversation with a client now. You see, we've got retirement wrong.
By the way, don't forget to hit the subscribe button below so that I know my content is giving you great value in your journey as an advisor. Okay?